For my bag, I use a Babolat Pure Aero 15 pack. It's awesome because I get to keep, there's a lot of room, and I'm somebody that likes to bring a lot of stuff on court with me, so that's important to me for a big bag. Moving on to the next compartment, we have a small side compartment here. First thing I see is we have some gum. Don't know why that's in there. I'm a gum chewer, I guess. We have some Voltaren gel. This is great for tennis players or any athlete because you kind of have a sore spot. I love to rub this on. Takes pain away before matches. Next thing we got are my power beats. These are awesome because I really like to listen to music before matches. And it gets me all amped up, I guess. Next, we got all my wristbands. These are awesome because I sweat a lot on court. Thank you, Ionic. They're super comfortable. Always got to have those in the bag.
Alright guys, I didn't want to admit this, but I've actually switched rackets. Yeah, a lot has happened here in the last 2 weeks. I have fully made the switch to this. This is the racket that I will be moving with forward, I think, for quite some time. I know I probably said that about this racket, but there is something about this racket right now that I can't really get out of my head. It really just feels like home. Everything is just unreal, and I'm just trying to explain in the best way I can about this racket in a pretty excited and monotone way. In a way, it just beats everything I've ever played with before, and I think, yeah, it's the one right now. I'm struggling to find the words even to say, because every time I go out and play with this racket, I've been playing with it for a couple months now, I just have not said anything because I was honestly scared to say something because I know that I talked about these really not too long ago. But yeah, every time I go out and play with this racket, it feels like that honeymoon stage with a racket. And I have that every time I play with this racket. And I think that that's like crazy because I've never had that before, especially when I play with my Radicals or the Extreme Tours or the Extreme Pros. I really love those rackets, and I think they're great rackets. But once you start settling into your racket, it doesn't feel special anymore. There's something about that when you get a new racket and it feels so good and you do really like it. But then with this one, every time I play with it, I have that feeling of it's a brand new racket and it just feels so crispy. And I have that excitement every time I play with it.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Why do I like this racket? From forehands in the back, I can do whatever I want with this racket on the forehand and on all the ground strokes. I can hit spin, I can hit flat, and it just goes. It just goes where I want. It's ridiculous. I can hit height, like very high over the net. The launch angle is bizarre because it's allowing me, and this is something we talk about in a lot of different rackets, pure arrows, pure drives, Wilson Burns, Ezones, V-Courts, they have high launch angles. I tend to gravitate towards medium to high launch angles because I like to play with spins sometimes, but I also like to flatten it out. But I don't love rackets that are very low launch angles, although they're fun to play with. So here we're talking about Prestiges and Pro Tour 2.0s and Wilson Blade tight patterns and stuff like that. I would like to be able to play with those rackets, but sometimes they don't work for me. But this racket's launch angle is strange because it's like you can do whatever you want with it. And that's the scary part because it's so good. Like I can hit flat with it and make the launch angle low. And then I can hit really heavy spin and it's all of a sudden high. So it does it all. And I've never played with a racket that has allowed me.
Today I'm going to be talking about what tennis rackets do college tennis players use, why they use them, and even if you're a junior player moving into college, what racket should you look at getting? The number one racket I see with college tennis players, D1, D2, D3, NAII, on YouTube, all of it, would be the Wilson blade. Now, why do I think that? And the reason is it's really a great all-around frame, and it's more on the control side. So this is something I'm going to touch on a lot. When you are moving into college, generally, and I say generally because there are exceptions, the player will move towards a more controlled frame. The next racket that I see a lot of is very similar to the Wilson blade, is the pure strike line. I see a ton of these rackets out there. The players that are using the strike line are maybe coming from a Babolat background, because in my opinion, from hitting with both of these rackets, they feel extremely similar. You can get the blade in the 1820, you can get the strike in the 1820. The next one is a little bit against what I've actually been saying, but I'm not surprised. I see a lot of pure Aeros. And this is the racket that I've kind of been talking about a lot in a lot of past videos, and just a few seconds ago really. This is the racket that a lot of people go away from because it is such a powerful, spin-friendly, thick beam, helps you dig out of the corner as well. This racket is so helpful when you're in the 12s, 14s, and even 16s. The next racket is kind of a combo, I believe, between, like a pure strike, pure Aero, and blade, and that is the Ezone 98. If you are a junior, looking to go to college tennis, maybe take some of these racket suggestions into consideration. But you know what? If you love your racket, you stick with your racket. Don't ever change your racket just for the sake of it. That is going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next video.
Oh my god, I just never gonna miss with this.
Everyone, Kate here from Movie Tennis. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today we have another racket comparison video for you guys today. It is between the Speed MP and Speed Pro. So yeah, Speed Pro, Speed MP, I'm going to go over the specs for you guys here now. The Speed Pro is 100 square inches, and also the Speed MP is also 100 square inch racket. But the main difference is mostly the weight, at least from what I felt. We'll see what the actual specs here say, but it's the feeling and the string bed. So the string bed on the MP is a 16 by 19 bed, where on the Pro it's an 1820. Comparing to my Radical, this is offering a lot more pop. It's really spinning, and the ball is moving through the air. That's the biggest thing really on both of these rackets, but for the MP right now, it flies, man, in a good way. It's not like you're hitting back fence every time like maybe the pure Aeros or pure drives. Not that those are bad rackets, I just feel like it's tough to control those rackets sometimes. I would say touch and feel is not too bad on here. It gets the job done. I ended up adding lead at 3 and 9 here. Just a couple of grams, as you can see. Nothing too crazy. I did not counter it in the bottom. I just kept it at 3 and 9 because I felt like on volleys it was just a touch unstable. Also, the thing that I think that the Pro blows the MP out of the water with is the touch and feel category, 100%. On all shots, I feel a lot more connected to the ball with the Pro. You can feel it come into the string bed and leave it. On slices, you can feel literally the ball cutting through the air, or the racket cutting through the air into the ball. I like that. What is up, everyone? Kate here from Movie Tennis. Hope you guys are doing great. We got this much requested racket on the channel today. Very excited to jump into this Pure Aero 98 review with you guys. Do it. So, the Pure Aero 98, formerly known as the Pure Aero VS, currently used and endorsed, but I think still really used from with everything I hear, by the 3-time Grand Slam champ, current Roland Garros champ, and defending Wimbledon champ, Carlos Alcaraz, Holger Rune, and also Felix Auger-Aliassime, my fellow Canadian. This is a highly requested demo here on the channel and has been for probably the last year. But yeah, For starters, you're still getting the absolute beast power that you would get from something like a Rafa Origin racket or regular pure Aero. I feel like the power level doesn't really go down much. That's something I wish did maybe a tiny bit. The spin also is huge on this racket. It's really just exploding off of the string bed. Guys, I really want to switch to this racket. Like, we're gonna really cut to it here. I really want to switch to this racket, but I can't. This is one that I got in the mail. I was so amped to try. It played well, but just not as well as I hoped. What's up, guys? This is the Gravity Tour, and it changes everything. Guys, today we have the Gravity Tour in the house, and like I just said, this racket is changing everything. And what do I mean by everything? This is the first time I've played with a racket, I think, since the Wilson Shift or maybe the Babolat Rafa Origin, that I feel like it's something unique and different about a racket. I've never felt in such a way with a particular racket. So first off, let's talk about something that I found very funky about it. When I swing this racket, it makes this very like sound when it cuts through the air. And I wasn't the only one that noticed this. The boys on my team could hear this sound from 1 and 2 courts over and across the net. They were like, this sounds really different, but they liked it, and I also liked it. So let's really cut to it. Ground strokes. What's unique about this racket is when you give it some power or you step on the gas, it is gonna go. And it's not gonna go to the fence, it's gonna be like a winner. When I was giving it some juice, this thing was flying through the air. And also, I felt like, you know, in the past with some rackets, or even my current Extreme Pros, there's this sensation of sometimes the ball is a little too loopy. That's also a technical thing for me in my own swing. We're gonna change the rating system. Actually, normally we stick with the 3 checks, but to make it a little bit easier to understand, we're gonna rate everything out of 10 from now on. So on the groundies, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Now to the serve, this is where the racket started to surprise me in the playtest. You know, of course I warm up with it. I start to hit serves. And normally serve is where it goes downhill or it just stays okay. And this surprised me on the serve. You can get some really good power out of this. Like I said, I play test a racket and continue to use it in a set. Like I said, this racket could be one of my favorites for 25. We're only in January here still, but I was so happy with it. It looks so damn sexy as well. So cheers to head. Definitely get out and try the Gravity Tour if you can. I think a lot of people are gonna like it, whether you're a club player, you know, college player, competitive, whatever. I really think anybody can give this exact Gravity Tour a go. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
What's going on, YouTube? Cade here from MP Tennis. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you're tuning in from. Today, we have a super fun video for you guys. It is my racket switch video. But I have officially made the switch to the Head Extreme Tour. So the thing with the Pure Aero is, if you guys have ever used it, it's like a rocket launcher, and if you're able to control it, it is deadly. Lots of power, lots of spin, and you know what? It's very good at net too. It's a very solid racket. However, in the last couple months, when I do play very good players, when they hit a lot of pace to me, I find the ball can spray a little bit since the racket has a lot of power, and I'm going to be swinging pretty hard. So it's a really thick beam, so there is a lot of power in this. But I watched some videos on some guys that said they didn't mind the racket stock form, but once they added lead tape, they absolutely loved it. I know there was somebody that also commented in one of our recent videos that I was talking about customizing. When you customize this racket with lead, oh my God, it's insane. So all in all, super happy with this switch. I actually think this is a hidden gem, this racket. It's really, really good, especially if you're coming from a Pure Aero racket and want a little less power and a little bit more control. This racket is unbelievable. Yes, I love it a lot. I think I found a racket finally that I'll be using for many years to come. I hope they keep making this forever and ever, since I really do like it. But yeah, also I strung this with Headlinks Tor. That's a really nice combo I have going in here right now. Alright guys, that kind of wraps it all up. From here, I'm super happy with my Switch because I really do like it, and I think I'll be using it for many years to come. I really do get the power and the spin from the Pure Aero, but I get some more control, so I feel like it's the perfect combo, and I feel like I can't miss it sometimes. What's up everyone? Kate here from MB Tennis. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today I'm going to be talking about my workout routine and what I do for my strength and conditioning training. So I've been working with For Fitness and Athletics for the past couple of years. They've been extremely good to me. I've really noticed my fitness level increase tremendously within the last couple of years. Before, I wasn't really doing any tennis-specific stuff, but in the past couple of years I have, and I've seen big improvements. So big thanks to them. I love going there. If you guys aren't doing any training yet, any just general fitness training, it can really help you. It doesn't matter your age. I would highly suggest that.
Alrighty, so we are at the gym. We're getting our warm-up going. The first thing that we always do, and it's a For Fitness and Athletics special, is they call them joint rotations. So you go head to toe, warming up all your joints. So you can see me getting my neck going. You can see me doing some shoulder ones now. This video right now, it's sped up to 2, so that's why it looks like I'm going really fast, just so I can talk with the video at the same time. But joint rotations are something that make you feel so good, and it's almost like a little extra warm-up piece that I never did before, but I always do now before my workouts. When you warm up for a workout or even playing a match, don't sit in stretches. That's more static stretches are more for when you're done your workout. Alright, first lift is a 4x6 sumo deadlift. I've only started doing sumo deadlifts of recent because I felt like it was going to help me have a wider base on court. Next one is a pull-off eccentric rotation. So this is really working on your upper body and your core. So there's lots of rotational stuff in tennis, so this is a really tennis-specific exercise. This is definitely a weakness of mine. I struggle with more upper body stuff. I more like doing deadlifts and squats, but that's okay. Got to work on it all. Everybody knows these. These are good old chin-ups. This is something that I used to really struggle with, but I'm getting better at every day. So I used to never be able to do any of them, but now I can rep out about 10. And the last one is a shoulder press. If you guys don't know already, I've already been saying that I struggle with certain exercises, and those are the upper body ones. So shoulder press is another weakness. That's why it's in my program. I'm trying to get better at it.
Today we're going to be talking about low tensions and why you need to start playing with a low tension. And I'm going to talk to you guys about why I'm going to start playing with a lower tension and how it can help you improve your tennis. But now with new technology, with polyester strings really coming into the market in the early 2000s, Guga Kuerten with his big run in Roland Garros using Luxlon Alu Power, and of course all of these hundreds and hundreds of new brands, polyester strings coming out. We got guys like Adrian Manarino, who's currently in between 18 and 22 pounds. This is extreme at a high level and perform at a high level. When you string lower, so typically between 30 and 50, that's a big range, but when you string under 50, the ball, when it comes off your racket, you're going to get more power. The ball is just going to come off because the tension is lower, so the ball will be able to rebound with more energy return. The other thing that people don't talk about enough with a low tension is it's really comfortable on your body. What do I mean by that? You get good comfort, especially with your wrist, elbow, shoulder. And lastly, low tensions actually generate more spin. With a low tension, the strings snap back more on the main and the crosses more, which can give you more spin potential. And who doesn't want to have more spin? Think about, Jack Sock. Think about that forehand just being ripped, the amount of revs on that ball. I believe he actually had more revs than Rafa at some point, but honestly, for a first time really going low here, I can really see the benefits, and I really think you guys should try this out. Today we talked about lower tensions and why you should definitely try it out. The 5 most strings used in college tennis today. One thing that I'd like to mention too for all of these strings is they're all polyester. So for 5th place, we got a tie between Slingo Confidential and Vocal Cyclone. Number 4, I'm sure you guys knew this one was going to be on the list but didn't know where, and that is Luxlon ALU Power. What a goat string this one is. The only thing about this string that I think is stupid is that it's so darn expensive. Number 3, this one, you guys, not a shocker at all, is RPM Blast. When people come over from Europe, they got their pure Aeros, they got their pure strikes and their pure drives. It's always RPM Blast. So many players are using RPM Blast. The number 2 spot is Solinco Torbite. So actually, a lot of the guys on the SNU team use a ton of Torbite. So I think like maybe 80-85% of last year's team and this year's team use Solinco Torbite. And the number 1 string in college tennis, as they advertise it, is Solinco Hyper G. This string is everywhere, folks. Everywhere you look, it's like Hyper G, Hyper G, Hyper G. So I actually think this string is very overrated. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and people always have lots of questions about that stuff. So feel free to leave a comment, ask me a question.
What's up everyone, Kean here from MB Tennis. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today we got another racket review for you guys, but this time it is a compare video. I have the very famous and very well known Head Speed Pro and Head Speed MP. A lot of people were really curious, have you tried the Speed Pro, have you tried the Speed MP? Now I have, and now I'm going to be able to give you guys some feedback. First one I put in my hand was the Pro. In your hand, it feels very, very solid. Overall, I love the paint job, love the cosmetics, looking good on both rackets. But the whole thing, which I'll get to, is the launch angle of the racket and my ball trajectory. That was my issue with this one. So, on the forehands, it was the trajectory of my balls was much lower. And that would be because of the 18x20 string pattern. I love this racket for returns. It just felt really solid. I felt like the weight of the racket was moving through perfectly on returns. It's endorsed by Novak Djokovic, but it's not used, so I could say maybe that's why he returns so well, but it's not. But then if we compare it to the Speed MP, originally I tested this out stock form, and I thought it was a little bit too light, so I added a little bit of lead at 3 and 9, and then some in the butt. And it felt a lot better. Compared to this racket, the Speed Pro, the Speed MP I felt was much easier to hit more length, and it was much easier to hit topspin. And that is because of the 16x19 pattern. If I had to choose one, I would definitely be going with the Speed MP. After playtesting the Speed MP and Speed Pro was how much I love my racket and how the feeling of this racket I haven't had with any other rackets, and I've demoed the most rackets I've ever have in the past 2 years because of the MP tennis community, but I can't seem to really find one that has that same feel. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just interesting how you find a racket and you love it so much. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Speed MP and Speed Pro. I hope you enjoyed the review.
And we're going to talk about why this is a racket that is just so solid. And what do I mean by solid? This racket really does give you a lot, and today we're going to jump into this. I haven't played with an Ezone 98 on the channel for a while. I have played with the Ezone 100, so if you want to know about the Ezone 100, go check out that video after this one. Is comparing this to the Ezone 100 in hand, holding the racket up on the throat or in the grip, for me, feels way better. It feels a little bit more like a player's racket. I feel like the Ezone 100 at times can feel very clunky and is extremely meant for flat hitting. It's very like slappy, frying pan feeling, very linear swings, and I feel like the Ezone 100, that's can be a feeling that you could get from playing with that one, where this one, you feel like you can maneuver a little bit more with the ball, kind of put it more where you'd like, creating some angle, pushing it deep, hitting slice, all that stuff will get up. But yeah, you're gonna realize that you can get some great tight spin with this frame from the baseline. So that means that the ball flies about window one over the net with spin, but can land deep and it penetrates the court. I'm very happy with it on the ground strokes. At times, it felt like it was landing a smidge short, but that for me is an easy switch. I think that's a strength thing. Up at the net, volleys, extremely impressed with this. I didn't think the volleys would perform as well as it did with this racket. Yeah, honestly, super stable. I think that's the thing that's the standout at the net, is this racket did not budge. Balls that were coming in a little hotter with some more pace, ball speed and spin, didn't make the racket, waggle, wobble in any sort of way. Was able to stick the volleys deep, close them angles short, put a little spin on them for some drop volleys. Really felt good. The Ezone 98, I think this might be one of the rackets that I've scored overall the highest. It's just very solid. Just like I said at the start of the video, I think a lot of people can like this. A lot of Ezone lovers love this line and will continue to love it. And I'm sure that this will be an easy upgrade for a lot of people that already use the Ezone. I really think a lot of people will like this one. So I recommend giving this one a demo.